Well, hello. This is Jared with my Vegas team at Crown Point Realty out of Henderson, Las Vegas, Nevada. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the quick and easy way to get OBS software set up with Facebook Live to launch a session and to get it running and used more frequently. Let's make this as quick and easy as possible. Since this is a straight up live recording, I am not going to be doing any edits. If this gets a little boring, hopefully we can skip through the bits, but I'm going to do my best to keep it quick and painless. So let's jump right in. Just to start with, we've got a quick outline prepared for you. I'm going to first talk about preparations, items that you should probably have in order to use this system most effectively. And then we'll jump into the OBS settings, things that you need to be aware of, how to be able to navigate and function effectively to use these tools in the system. We are going to make it as simple as possible with just the video, but there are a couple of areas you need to know. And then we'll jump over to Facebook and get the items, the stream key that we need in order to get the two systems to talk to each other and to create the magic. And then finally, we'll cover the going live portion of that so that you'll know exactly what to expect on that. Cool. With that said, let's jump into the details on this. Now, for the past 1 minute that I've been talking, we've gone through 3 scenes, and you'll notice that I'm currently on scene 0, or in this case, 3. Each scene has its own selection of sources. Just consider the scenes exactly what they are, different scenes as to how you want the layout to happen. Our first opening scene was me in the full view. The second scene was the pop-up window off to the side and the outline available there. And then finally, the third scene is the actual display camera, which I have labeled as CPU. The pop-up camera off it to the right, and then my notepad, which is in this scene, but it is not viewable. And the reason is because the layering of these sources matter. Just like Photoshop, just like a photo editing software, the layers and its position on this source list make a difference. So that means if I take this arrow, move my note outline up, it should come right in front of the display, and there it is. Very good. And that is before the front page, which is, the front camera, which is right here. And that's why the note outline is in the middle of the layers. So hopefully that's enough explanation on that. Now you'll notice with everything that I'm clicking under the sources section, there is a red border that surrounds each portion of that. Now that red border is a scalable tool. Again, just like the photo editing software, I can scale these windows to any size that I want. And because this is highlighted, I can also move it around to wherever I want, which makes this GUI interface super, super cool. Same thing with any of these other items on the list. The system is very responsive and very, very little delay. So it's real time that you can see what's going on here. So that is the red border, the scalability of all these items, the layering on the sources. You'll notice mic auxiliary is an audio-based item. Because there's no visual portion to be displayed on here, you're not going to be, it doesn't matter where this is at. You can put this down at the bottom, at the top, and it's not going to affect anybody. But as you can see, I am using an external microphone. I just prefer that for personal reasons. And that is what what is listed here underneath the mixer and audio resources. So that is the the microphone, and then also the front camera, the note, and the CPU. Now, with that said, that are some of the key areas of the OBS software that you're probably going to use most frequently. And I wanted to just get you familiar with that right away. We'll jump into these buttons here in a minute. But before we do, I skipped over an entire section, and that's the preparations. What do you need in order to get this system running? Ideally, you want 8 gigabytes of RAM memory on your computer. It's possible to do 4, but make sure all the applications are closed in the background. 8 gigabytes will be sufficient. Ideally, the more the merrier, because then you can do a lot of stuff. If you start seeing fluttering or delays or something, just give it a second, pause the system, or close out all of the other applications. Make sure you're going forward. That's the bare minimum you should do. Plus blazing fast internet, of course. You want the highest quality going out, right? Great. Other options. Optional items include graphics and labels. Now, these are things that could be borders. These could be additional images or text that you want on there. You can grow with that. You can really make it flashy doing a CNN, Fox News type thing where it's, really, really, really flashy and stuff. That's later down the road. You'll notice I've got an external microphone connected. The channel is here, and that is an input source that's available. Same thing with cameras. You could do additional cameras and angles. If you have enough USB ports to make that happen and enough cameras, you can absolutely do some multi-camera angles on that. But just remember, with each additional item is more memory, more function that's running on the system. So you want to make sure that you keep that in account when you're doing that. Great. Jumping back to OBS and its settings, we talked about scenes. These are the 3 scenes we just went through, and our sources. Next thing up is going to be the stream and the output folder. Now, to get to that, I'm going to take this notepad. I'm going to disappear it behind the view here. So now that we have the infinite display of OBS, and I'm going to make my way over to settings, which is off to the bottom right. Oh, you probably can't see that. And that's because the camera is in the way. So let's move that out of the way. Very good. Now you should see the settings mode. Now I've gone ahead and clicked that option, and this area is going to be another area that you do want to just pay attention to, and I'll show you just the key areas that you're really concerned about. Your general overview has a lot of boxes to tick off, and these are more or less preferences as to how you want the system to behave. Like for the output, you definitely want pop-up windows to start or stop the stream. Do you want to automatically record when streaming? If you do select that box, that means you're setting up additional processing functions in the background. So if you do not want a really good high quality recording of your video because it's all local, and you just want to focus all of your energies, especially if you're using a 4 GB RAM or 8 GB, focus all the energy on just pushing out that video to the stream, great idea to unselect that. The challenge that you get, though, is that whatever gets sent out to Facebook Live is what you've got. And if you can download that video, great. But that's all you've got. If you have enough system in there, then definitely record it so you have a secondary backup video of what took place. And it's going to be a higher quality, which then you can push off to YouTube or Vimeo or whatever other setup you've got. That's under the Generals tab. The stream is where we're really going to spend some time. It's really simple, as you can see. The streaming services that are available include YouTube, Mixer, Dailymotion, Facebook Live. You can even do Twitter and Periscope, which is pretty cool. In this case, for this reason, we're doing Facebook Live, and all we are looking for is a stream key. So with that said, let's swap on over to Facebook Live, and let's see what a stream key looks like and how do we get there. That means we're jumping over to this screen, and great. So under the, again, this is for real estate. So if you have a business page set up for as a realtor, what you're looking for is publishing tools, and you're going to use the sub-tab on the left-hand side called videos. And what that will do is take you to your library of videos that have already been posted, but you'll notice a fun hidden little button called Plus Live. Now this Plus Live button is going to do 2 things. It's going to give you the chance to set up a post just like a typical Facebook post, but the key factor and difference in this case is that stream key. Now there are 2 components to the stream key. You've got your server URL and your stream key. When we switch back to OBS and we go to our settings and our stream function, the system already has that URL set up under Facebook Live, so all we are looking for is that new stream key. And the way you do that is just select all, delete, and make sure that you've pasted that new stream key. Press apply. Good to go. Now it's in OBS, and that is ready for you to start streaming. But you can't start streaming right away. You need to make sure your Facebook post is prepared. So let's switch back to Facebook. And we are going to use the post information to make sure that we've got all of that information plugged in. So in this case, let's just pretend we're doing this live video, and we get all of the data entered into that post. And we get all of the hashtags plugged in. All right. And that's going to be just something really for us to get set up. Now, you definitely your different pull down menus that you can have here lets you push to different places. We can schedule this. You'll notice that you can do go live or schedule. In this case, we are going to schedule it, and that's where we can have a quote Facebook Live session scheduled for a specific time. In this case, if I wanted to go live tonight at 8 o'clock, it's simply a matter of changing those fields. Now, please keep in mind that you have, it mentions it here, when you schedule your verify, you will not be able to go live within 10 minutes of scheduling it. So the earliest time that I can schedule a post is 10 minutes from now. In this case, it's going to be 30 minutes. And I've got my photos set up and the options there. By processing and submitting that post, it has gone ahead and set up that notice in my business profile page. And you'll notice the pop-up window that appears here. This is now a notice to all of my followers that I'm going to be going live. So it has already pushed that out to everyone else, which means when they click on that, whether it's on their mobile, their tablet, or their computer, they're going to be taken to this page, and they can either like it or get the reminder that they're going to go live. Now, if they get the reminder, that means they will be notified, A, when you go live, B, as a reminder like 2 or 3 to 5 minutes beforehand so that you can get logged on as soon as possible. So that's really, really one of the key advantages of using the Facebook Live using OBS on there. Cool. Let's switch back to the stream. And what we want to do is, now that we've got the settings set up and the Facebook Live post scheduled, you literally just wait for the time to come up. Facebook will give you a notice that your stream is going to start, and you should probably get plugged in. And it really is a matter of opening up OBS and pressing stream. Now, what's going to happen is when you go live, you're going to get that Facebook post. And what I suggest is when you go live, have your mobile set up and ready to go so that you can see off to the side, or maybe a tablet, when it actually posts. There is a significant delay. It's about 20 to 30 seconds, which is really good because you can, be focused on this. And you don't have to worry about anything, but you just kind of want to have it off to the side and let you know that is working, and then move it off to the side so that way you can focus on your session. But that is the quick and easy way to get OBS to launch a Facebook Live session. The key factor being that stream key. You just copy and paste the stream key in there. Make sure your post is scheduled for an appropriate time. Now, with that said, you can literally stop here and then be happy with it. But if you want to take on a couple of additional items, let's see what else we can do with this in OBS. So going back to our sources, I'm going to show you where these sources came from. The front camera is pulled in from this menu list. Now, don't be intimidated by this. You're only going to use a couple of them. Audio input capture is literally just that, getting your mixer and your mic plugged in. And if you wanted to see what that looks like, it's really distracting, isn't it? It's the audio input capture. Mines are already existing, and so that's what the mic auxiliary is available. Since I already have it in this scene, well, I don't need to add it, so it's just there. The the other items in here that you're going to use are going to be the display capture. I use the display capture to really just pick from my two screens. Either it's monitor or computer, and that's what's listed there. I've already added them. If I needed to add a third one, well, then I just call it third display. That's just for my reference. I label it whatever I want. And it's going to ask me, well, where's your displays at? Because they should be connected to your computer. And in this case, I don't have one, so I can't add a third display on there. and I can cancel out of that. Now you'll notice that the sources tab did drop in a third display, but I didn't add a third display, so there's nothing being shown. In this case, I can go back and edit that if I end up plugging one in, but I don't need it, so I'm going to delete it. And that's what the pop-up is. I can press delete on the keyboard. I can right-click, select remove, or you can go down and, because this is highlighted, go down to this minus button and remove it. And it's going to give me that same pop-up asking for it to be removed. Since this is a tool that I use for real estate, what I've done is set this up so that I can announce open houses. And one of the advantages of doing that is I can have all of the photos, the professional photos that are there, used to kind of tease the property and bring it in. Now, one of those options that I've done is set up a picture slideshow. Yes, you can put in images, but a slideshow is really what's going to be really, really cool. So to open that, when you click on that pickup list of image slideshow, this is the window that shows up here. Now, don't get too tied up with all of these functions. Just keep in mind that when you do have a stack of photos, you definitely want them to loop, because if you reach the end and it's just sitting there on the last one, or it's blank, it really kind of takes away from the show there. So image files, you're going to click the plus button. This is where all of the directory addresses for every file is going to be located. Click on the plus button, and you want directory, not files. Files are individual files. We want a directory of photos. And so let's pick from a stack of photos that I've got already set up here with open houses, and that's going to be Rue Montpellier. And here is my stack of media. I'm going to select the folder. See how that's different than the actual file that I'm looking for. This entire folder has a stack of photos, and it's going to be pulling in all of those pictures automatically, and it's going to loop them. So I'm going to click OK, and when I pull that function in, you'll notice all I'm looking at is one corner of these pictures. I'm going to click Control F, or you can click on Transform under the option menu, which this window shows up when I right-click the cursor in the middle of the screen. So right-click your mouse button, Transform, and I'm going to Fit to Screen, or Control F. And what that does is it just takes those pictures and puts them scalable to the actual video. Now, why is that important? Well, that's just because my screen its resolution is a lot greater than the photos, and everything that comes in is going to be kind of this exploded view. So we want it to fit and scale to screen. Now you'll notice the photos are automatically rotating through its cycle with what's already been with what's in that directory. I'm not doing anything else. It's doing it automatically in the background. So that's the pretty cool function about this. Now back to our sources. You'll notice that these photos are now being displayed on the entire screen, but it's occupying my space. So I'm going to move this down, and you'll see all of the windows start kind of appearing back in their view. And let's just bring this back up. Well, yeah, I'll bring it down. And what I'll do is I'll take the CPU and I will scale it down so that we can see this off to the side. Oh, wrong one. Let's go with CPU. Much better. Cool, man. All right, so that's my computer system, that the display there. Now I'm going to take this pop-up window. I'm going to move this here. And so now you can see the slideshow moving in the background. You can see my pop-up window for my camera, and then, of course, the display of my computer doing all of that in its infinite view off to the side. So those are some of the cool functions in OBS. The additional fields, or the additional sources that you'll probably want to use is video capture if you have multiple cameras, and then text. Text is where you can actually set up an actual text on the screen. And so let's just say I want to say hello. This would be my message to hello. Or in this case, let's say open house, right? Because that's what I'm going to be doing in this one. So what this does is it brings me to a pop-up window, and just like every other text-based item, I can pick my font from my list of fonts that are in there and have something fun to go in there. I can select the scale and the size of all of this, be bold, blah, blah, blah. And then my colors, I can pick the color for that, and I can select the transparency of all this. It's alignment. It can be posted in the center. But in this text box, I'm going to say open house on Saturday. And this is going to be in my favorite color, violet. Or purple, something along those lines. Click OK, and you'll notice this text field appear here. Again, just like everything else in the system, it's got its red border, and I can focus it wherever I want. Double click on that in the sources section to come back and make any adjustments that you want. And it's that easy to use all of that stuff. So yes, requires just a little bit of preparation, but once you've got it set up, it's a powerhouse program to use. I hope that is enough for you to get started on OBS and start using it a little more frequently. This is just the beginning of what you can use. Additional features include things like borders. Where are the borders at? This is an example of what some of the borders would look like. I've set up just a border with some transparency there that would be really, really cool. Here's some text that we did, some additional stuff, additional images, and then create your main body there. Additional videos. If you had done some pre-stock videos of other stuff, you can have them on display here while you're busy talking, and that way it just kind of really looks cool. So it really is a canvas of really cool stuff out there. Hope you guys start using it, because I'd like to see different ideas that are out there. Well, again, this is Jared with My Vegas team, Crown Point Realty. Thank you for your patience in this conversation. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, I'll include links so that you can hit me back with whatever means you prefer. Have a great day.